outside in droves, getting ready. Thaisa Queiroz. Return to Iowa City is underway when Caitlin Clark is on the floor versus not. Backdoor, Mitchell couldn't quite hang on, and if you're ever going to play in front of, I need to hit some early shots so you really get to feel what it's like here when they're going nuts.
And of course, keep in mind, it's their second preseason game. This team, Indiana Fever team, has only been together for a week. These new players still learning one another.
Marcelino can't finish. Here comes Clark in transition. Clark, pull up three. You bet! Mitchell, why not? Here's Clark off the rebound. Eyes up, finding Boston on a dime. Able to finish on the follow. And an electrifying start because, of course, as the Clark family applauds.
And of course, it's because we're seeing what only Caitlin Clark can do. You know, the deep three followed by a great get-ahead pass to Aaliyah Boston just changes the flow and the pace of the game for the Indiana Fever.
And Indiana's big throw early. Mitchell, Boston, Clark. Here's Caitlin. Wiggling, leaning, can't hit. Long rebound. Scooped up by Brazil. Martins has it. Goes cross court. Queiroz on the run, floats it in. First bucket of the game for Brazil. Totally expected, Rebecca, about Caitlin Clark just drilling her first attempt from three in this return. Nice pocket pass. Boston couldn't quite hang on. As Indiana turns it over in transition, a foul called on Natasha Howard, and free throws here for Brazil. Nice to start him. One of the, I think, more underrated ingredients to her rise was the way she so consistently delivered, meeting the moment when the audience would grow. You know, think about a few years ago, people starting to hear the legend of the lore. She drops a 40-point triple-double in the Elite Eight. You think about Carolina, 41. How she broke the record here with 49, an arena record in her senior year, just very consistently shattering the expectations of the moment. A reach in there from Bonner, and a foul is called against Indiana.
I loved how
WNBA mainstay Pokey Chapman will be their head coach, but Leo Figueroa, their lead assistant, doing the head coaching today.
And is always looking for that in transition.
Marcelino backing down Clark. Kick to the corner. That three is off for Mora. Clark hits the deck. Looking for a whistle. Did not get one. Here comes Clark. Still dealing with a little bit of that left leg injury. Floats it in. Good movement. Mitchell. In and out on a three. Nice touch pass from Howard over to Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell, an all-star a season ago. On the drive, layup is good for Martins. Nice push from Brazil with 7 straight points. Backdoor, Mitchell can't pop it in, but a foul. And another nice backdoor feed from a big of Indiana this time. Special team players, Camila Cardoso, we saw the other night with the Chicago Sky. Damiris Stuntis, who has suffered a loss in the family, will not play in this game, but figures to be here. And is with them here today. As Mitchell hits both, there's Damiris. And Sophie Cunningham will check.
Pressure defense when there's been a dead ball for Brazil.
On the drive, nice finish by Alves. Alves, who will be going to Illinois this coming season. Clark off on that one. And Bonner gets into the steal. Gets it back out to Clark. Clark dumps it to Boston. Bonner will fire away and knock it down.
That's an area we saw throughout the course of last season where Caitlin Clark really grew, was when she got trapped on ball screens. She would hit Aaliyah Boston in the short roll. Boston is an exceptional passer, makes the one more on that last possession.
And that was something that Stephanie White was talking about. Passer Aaliyah Boston is. Bonner lays it in off the delivery from Mitchell. 15-9 lead in the early going for Indiana, and a kick is going to keep things right here.
To do it.
Yeah, you're seeing some outstanding passing across the board right now from Indiana. Sophie Cunningham had a big game yesterday in the preseason debut for Indiana. She is in for Bonner. Here's Clark. Lost the handle momentarily. Mitchell will pop and hit, plus the foul. And a chance for 4 for Kelsey Mitchell.
Indiana.
Holly?
Well, Kelsey Mitchell played in China in the offseason. She got a finger injury on her shooting hand, middle finger. That knuckle got dislocated. She's trying to fight through that a little bit, but she said, I'm looking forward to being a true shooter, to be able to get downhill, get to the rim, use my change of pace and change of speed, and be the knockdown shooter this team needs.
Well, she's got 9 in the first, looking pretty good so far today, Hal. De Oliveira misses the 3 badly, and that'll take us.
Last question for you, Coach. I know that you have retired, but I was so proud that Iowa continued to sell out tickets here and the fans continued to come. What makes you happy about that your legacy has continued?
That is so important, and I know Jan's doing a great job with the pro. Continue this is what's so important, and to let people know how good women's basketball is, both at the college level.
He has continued it. Great job. Photobomb, best photobomb ever. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Go
being
Hawks, go Fever.
Thank you.
Caitlin would play in a preseason game today if it was not here at Carver Hawkeye because of the left leg injury out this morning. How frustrating it was after all the work she put in the offseason.
2 weeks, they want to make sure she is as healthy as can be for that game.
We have Sydney Colson, one of the new acquisitions, in at the backup point now for Indiana with Howard, Cunningham, Boston, and Mitchell. Good defense here from Indiana. Crowd applauds it. And that's going to be a shot clock violation. Then Caitlin Clark and the Fever host Angel Reese in the sky. Coverage begins with WNBA Countdown at the other.
How they looked great.
I think there was a lot of addition to the stars they already have with Asia Wilson and Jackie Young and Chelsea Gray.
And Chelsea Gray looking back to inform. Of course, a season ago she was injured. She was not quite 100% the entire year, while she looked great in that preseason game.
Saw that in Unrivaled as well. 3 to shoot here, firing away, can't hit. Verajao on the putback. Isa Verajao is spent 14 seasons in the NBA. Mitchell flinging it out. Here's Colson, will pop and knock it down from 3.
That'll be huge if Sydney Colson can give them solid minutes but if she can bring her offense, bring so much experience, championship experience off of the bench for Indiana.
And we saw throughout the Aces title runs, Colson step up at different moments, even if she hadn't been playing at all. When she would have her number called, so often would give the Aces key stretches throughout the playoffs. 5th turnover from Indiana. Here's Nicoletti. Tossing across court. Catch, fire, off the mark for Nascimento. Bella follows up, can't hit. Good strong rebound on the interior. Licinara keeping the possession alive. And finally, Aaliyah Boston able to claw it for Indiana. Here's Howard running with Colson. Oh, Colson! Some trickery behind the back.
Caitlin Holmes, a no-brainer. Shooting the ball really well today, especially from 3, assisting as well. What have you most liked that you've seen from the group so far in this game?
Our willingness to make the extra pass, our willingness to step up and knock down shots. You know, I'm still not real happy with the way we're not pushing the ball and making big shots.
How's Caitlin look to you, her first game with the leg and still dealing with that a little bit, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, she looks like she hasn't practiced in a few days. Just a little bit lethargic, trying to get her energy, trying to get her rhythm and timing a little bit, but looks good. Having her out on the floor makes everybody else more comfortable.
All right, thanks a lot, Steph. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And a Fever, here's Clark. Thought about taking and gets fouled on the reach-in from Ferreira. Clark started the first with a made three, ended the first with a made three. 3 rebound opening quarter. Kelsey Mitchell with 9 points. Clark, a bomb. Is good! If there was a logo there, she would have been on it.
It's crazy to me, though, watching her do that has sort of become routine.
And it's not a routine distance. Here's Clark. 3 threes already. Clark, what a pass. Timpson couldn't quite finish it. Hull keeps it alive. Cunningham back ironing off. Clark in a crowd comes down with it. An Olay pass. Timpson gets fouled. Nice delivery from Cunningham.
That's fouled or getting second chances inside, but she's looked really, really good here early.
I mean, Stephanie White just lit up talking about Michaela, and she is going to be a very, very good pro. Said, look, she's not going to have any pressure on her this season. She's going to be able to sit back and learn, but she'll probably work her way into some minutes just because of how good she is. Here's Clark, veering through traffic, gives it up, gets it back, finds Turner, Brianna Turner over to Hull. She got it! Another 3 for Indiana, their 9th of the half.
With a variety of small lineups, including this one, without Aaliyah Boston or another big 5 player on the floor.
Bree Hall from South Carolina getting some minutes here, the rookie.
And the way they're sharing the ball, the spacing they have on the floor.
Clark drives, stops, and lays. 11 points for Caitlin Clark in this first half. Timeout, Brazil. From 2, 9 of 12 from 3. Indiana team that was 3rd in the league in 3-point percentage a season ago. Here's McDowell, who will be headed to South Carolina this coming year, and a travel there as Brazil turns it over. Carolina, number 22 recruit this year. Holly Rowe, I know you were reaching out to Dawn Staley for a little scouting report on McDowell.
Well, that's right. In fact, Dawn Staley had some great things to say. She said that she is a great human being, mature beyond her years, fans. But also, happy birthday, Coach. I didn't mean to bother you on your birthday.
Happy birthday in Columbia this coming season.
Talk about a big guard. This 18-year-old is 6'2", and certainly beautifully with the Gamecocks next season.
And part of the reason why Brazil is very excited about this next wave of players they have, they feel like they have a better stable of young talent than they've had in a decade. You, of course, remember very well what it was like when Brazil had all kinds of talent at their senior national level. Oh, what a pass. Hull couldn't quite pump it in. Here's Mitchell. She got it. And Caitlin Kelsey Mitchell, who has 12 points. It's an 11-0 Indiana run. McDowell follows it up using that 6'2" size. Still attacking the glass. Loose ball underneath and finally collected by Bree Turner. Here's Hall in the corner. And McDowell. Let's bring in Tawana Bonner right now. The veteran on the bench joining us with her.
It's been good. It's a lot of young energy, so they keep me young, but it's a lot of people that's willing to learn and they want to win. So it's been really fun just trying to integrate 7 new pieces and then along with our picks that we got for rookies. So it's been a lot of fun, man. I'm happy to be here.
Tawana, you're the most experienced player in the WNBA right now, and a year ago going into the playoffs, that was the knock on in the Indiana Fever, only 19 games of playoff experience. What do you feel and see from some of the younger players as they learn from you with that experience?
Win a championship, but we know it's a long season, so just kind of keep them focused on the process to get there first, because yeah, they got there, but it was a first-round exit, and that's what we're trying to avoid this year.
Tawana, your Connecticut team eliminated Indiana last year. You had the defensive assignment for much of that first-round series on Caitlin Clark. Yeah, right over there. You put your hand on her shoulder. Have you shared the scouting report yet?
I think Steph that actually shared it with her, but I do give her trouble. I always throw up a W in her face because, yeah, we got the dub. But I'm happy to be on the side of the ball with her. She's such a dynamic player. She makes everybody on our team better. You can already see the difference from our first game to this game. It's been so much better, such a calm presence out there. So just happy to have her on my side this time. I don't have to guard her.
Dewana, how about just looking at the team in its totality, all the veteran talent that this group brought in around the young core? What will Indiana Fever basketball look like this season when it's at its best?
Oh, man, that's a good question to get it all together. It's so crazy because I've never been in a training camp where we had 3 practices and then we had to play a game. So a lot of information is special for young kids that is not really kids, young ladies that's trying to learn and understand the game in a different way. But it's been a lot of fun, and hopefully by the end of the season with our depth, to play last season, so we need this depth, especially me. I need it. So.
All right, Dewana, we appreciate the time. Good luck this season.
Thank you so much.
Dewana Bonner was the 4th real impactful player on the floor.
Yeah, certainly, and it gives Steph White a lot of options in terms of can play the 3, can play the 4, and a little bit of a smaller lineup. And I mean, we're seeing here today the number of threes that are a variety of different plays. 5 different Indiana Fever players have hit a 3 already.
They're 11 of 15 as Howard, nice take. One of the other key acquisitions of the offseason, a rim running big with championship experience herself. Howard, who was a title teams, had success in Indiana and Minnesota prior to that. Good run with New York and Dallas after Seattle. Here's Clark. Clark is going to get the whistle, was seeking it. And you see, Stephanie White told us she felt like Clark didn't have her same burst, kind of working through it after a few days without practicing. You could see doesn't have her first action, her first game action since last September. Did not play in the preseason opener. The passing and the shooting has been just fine, though. Here's Boston, extra feed, Hull, another. Lexi Hull is on fire off the bench from downtown. And Aaliyah Boston already with 4 assists. Spin inside and a whistle against Indiana. Throughout the league who adopted bye-bye this season.
It was a bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
It was great spending time with Coach before the game, who's the father of Manu Alves, one of the second half. We started to mention it before, Rebecca. I mean, you know what it was like to go up against a really good Brazilian senior national team.
Yeah, in 1996, our Olympic team beat Brazil in the gold medal game, and 2 years prior to that, Brazil won the World Championships. And you know, you mentioned it. They feel like this is the best core in the last decade, and you see a nice mix in this game today of veterans, and then you have the 3 teenagers on the roster as well.
Here's Mitchell popping and hitting from 3. Kelsey Mitchell with 15.
From 3 in a basketball game. I mean, Indiana is simply on fire.
Here's Clark. Off the turnover, Clark dishes, Boston floats it in. Third assist for Clark. Aaliyah Boston filling up the stat line. Has 9 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Martins meets a wall. Pumps it out. Mora can't hit the 3. Another rebound for Clark. Clark flinging it down the floor. Howard could not hang on, was thrown a little behind her. Indiana didn't turn it over in the second quarter. You know, last year that was an issue for them, with Clark leading the league in turnovers. Victoria has it knocked off of her, out of bounds. What are we talking about?
With the Houston Comets, an incredible player, current players, not only Camila Cardoso, but Demiris Dontis, who isn't playing here today, but will be huge pieces of this Brazilian national team.
In the corner, that 3 won't won't go but a foul. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, Ryan, as you mentioned earlier, Damaris Dantas not playing, dropped some weight. Her frame looks incredible, and she is ready to be a big contributor for this Indiana and is back in great shape, ready to contribute.
All right, Hal, thank you very much. We saw what an impact she made on the second half of the season for Indiana last year. It's a backup big. It's a very deep fever team this season as Bella hits. Here's Clark. Clark from the logo. Little off. Howard there for the follow.
You just saw Natasha Howard push baseline side. As soon as the shot went up, she started moving and tracking that basketball.
Got a deflection there and nearly a double dribble, instead a turnover. Clark with 13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Gets it back from Mitchell. Clark, extra feed. Boston leaves it short. Slapped out to Mitchell. Back iron on a 3. Another chance here for Indiana. Here's Clark using the Boston screen. Slings it into Howard. Howard draws 2, deflected out of bounds with 3 to shoot. As Sophie Cunningham is. Clark, catch, attack, floater is good. Worked on that a lot. Saw her working on it extensively with her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey, who's an assistant at Butler. Saw her working on it with her coaching staff pregame as well. She's trying to add that to her game. Here's Clark. Oh, what a look. Mitchell the extra feed, and Boston is fouled. A serious highlighter was percolating there on 2 gorgeous dimes.
There's nothing that
Clark will check out. And next Sunday night, we'll have the final 2 episodes. WNBA rookie Kiki Iriafen. It's a terrific series. It is so well done. We saw it last year in season 1 and just cannot recommend it enough. Vittoria can't hit the 3. Here's Cunningham. Again, eyes up immediately, even with Clark off the floor. Here's Howard. Swiftly kicking. Cunningham can't hit the 3. A rebound taken in by Marcelino. Martins through traffic, cups it up and off. Rebound, Colson able to save it. Midway through the 3rd, here in Iowa. A sold-out crowd. It's sold out in less than a half an hour. Average ticket price, according to Vivid Seats, going for $670. Here's Howard to the corner. Cunningham online, couldn't hit it. Mitchell pursues it. Another chance here for Indiana. Here's Mitchell, wiggling and cupping it in.
different from any of her teammates is her ability to create for herself, use her speed and quickness to get to the rim for finishes.
Brazil has missed its last 10 shots now as Mitchell scoops up the rebound. Here's Colson around the Boston screen. Boston traveled. That'll take us to a timeout. Caitlin Clark delivers. Talk about her impact on attendance when we come back.
I know it's her teammates. I know it's Iowa, but what makes you proud about your daughter right now seeing this?
Well, I think it's just, you know, what we've seen over the last few years, and I think that that's what's special. And I think the fact that you're seeing it here in Iowa City, it's sort of the epicenter, you know, if you will, of women's basketball right now. And now
Okay, so you're new W parents. What did you learn in her rookie season that you can help support her and be there for her in this coming season?
Well, I think, you know, there's a lot of room for improvement there. I think particularly in the officiating. I've kind of noticed a little bit.
Players on this team, on this roster, a lot of turnover, but the passing and the ball movement has been exactly what we are expecting. What do you think so far?
That's the same thing. I commented to my wife earlier that it seems like, and I think Steph White's reinforcing this, is that she says you do not hold the ball more than 1 second. I mean, it's quick decision making, and they're moving the ball, and that leads to a lot of points.
Right. Fun type of basketball to watch. Last question for you. Just what is it like for you to be back here? So many beautiful moments and memories and records that your daughter set in this building. What is this like to be back here today for your family?
Well, it's certainly special, and I think the fact that it's almost like we never left. You know, that's the thing about, I think, this university. They just embrace, you know, their athletes. You know, whether it's Caitlin or whether it's, you know, any other athlete. They love it. It's kind of their professional team, and that's what makes it, I think, just a fantastic experience every time you come.
All right, you can always go home again. That's a good feeling. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The moment on national TV to say, hey, we got to make sure there's not too many whistles so we can have the right fluidity.
And can I just say,
or maybe more whistles to have the right fluidity.
when I use the ladies' room at excited, I think because they got to meet Brent Clark. I was delighted overhearing their conversation.
And Caitlin's entire family has become massive celebrities here in Iowa and beyond. And Brent and Ann have been wonderful to us and our entire crew for years now with their generosity of time. Her deepest three during her W season last year was 32.5 feet. And Clark in her first preseason action, 4 of 6 from 3, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 16 points. So many of those signature down court feeds to Rebecca. She plays an incredibly electrifying style of basketball.
And differently from anyone we have ever seen before her in the women's game, which is the main driving force for the incredible popularity that she has. She is simply so much fun to watch. But I'll tell you this, Ryan, this Indiana Fever team and the way they've been, assuming they can all stay healthy and continue to improve as the year goes on.
Nice tip there. Man. Fourth quarter action in Iowa City. Clark and Mitchell a combined 8 of 12 from 3 in this game. Indiana 14 of 25. That 3 short. Tilts out of tenders in the WNBA this season. Liberty coming off a championship a season ago, adding Natasha Cloud. Vegas what they did. Minnesota, who was as close as you could possibly be.
Size at the guard position, defensive toughness as well. Their first preseason game, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray. But I do think that you put Indiana into that conversation, and I think all these teams, but especially Indiana, because so many new pieces, are going to be a much, much better version with each passing day that they get to work with one another.
One other team I want to throw your way, Rebecca. How about Phoenix, all the movement they made in the offseason?
That's a team I'm really curious to watch because they've got as talented a big three as you have in the WNBA with Alyssa Thomas, Kalia Copper. You see Beal take that shot. And Satu Sabali. I mean, that is a terrific, imposing big three. But
with Chicago back at the PMAC Center
for when Chicago made the fewest threes in the WNBA in free agency and through the draft. They've added three-point shooters to Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese. So also intrigued to see what they're going to look like as the season starts.
Queiroz can't hit the 3. A little more than 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. That's out of bounds. Well, the WNBA begins its 29th season. May champion Liberty hosts the Aces at 1 Eastern. Then Caitlin Clark and the Fever hosts Angel Reese in the Sky. Coverage begins with WNBA Countdown at 12:30. How?
And she talked about their 4-out, 1-in type of play with Camila Cardoso being that 1-in, having more space to open up the floor. She said she's really working on her face-up game, pulling out and getting a jump shot. She said, I don't think I've posted up once yet this training camp, and she's trying to add her range to her game.
Yeah, we saw the way Chicago played, looked fluid.
40, 85 player. That's what she was her entire career. I think it's going to take Dallas some time, though, to kind of to find their chemistry, to find their groove. Another team with new pieces, a new head coach, and Chris Koklanis. But I think Page is nice shot by Hall, is alongside Enrique Agumbawale.
From Bree Hall, as Indiana has put up 100 with 6:40 to go in this fourth quarter. Colson comes up with a steal. Colson bounces. Hall leaning, can't bank it in. Long rebound flag down by Fajera. Fajera can't finish, out of bounds to Indiana.
Oh, just good hands, though, by Sydney Colson. First we see her get the pick up top, but that time, coming in, she was just able to hit the ball out.
You know, we're deep into this game.
How did you like your bunk bed last night?
Yeah, you did have a bunk bed, didn't you?
You had a bunk bed? Holly Rowe had a bunk bed?
No, I didn't have one.
Oh, you didn't have one?
No, that wasn't at my Iowa City hotel room.
Oh, Holly did.
Brown
I think.
can't finish. All right, you know.
This morning, Holly also had a bunk bed, and then we just had a nice little pregame party.
Yeah, did what we did.
I didn't realize you didn't get one.
No bunk bed for me. I will say, too, and it's funny because Caitlin was talking about this the other day in anticipation of this game, wanting to show off Iowa City for her teammates. It really is an
Before I crawled into my bunk bed, there were people walking around for prom.
Yeah.
There was a pub crawl going on. I think that was college students. There was a lot going on last night in Iowa City.
Knocked on your door at 2 a.m. A reminder, Indiana will play their season opener, regular season opener, 3 Eastern on ABC Saturday, May 17th, against Chicago. Nice rivalry that we saw last year as Caitlin Clark goes through some things with her teammates. Of Brazilian descent who might be eligible for their team as they look to expand their pool of talent. So it was one of the things they'd even brought up to us, saying, hey, I know you're on national TV. Let anybody know who has a Brazilian mother or father. They're really right now into scouting wherever they can, all corners of the globe, to try and add to that talent. And that FIBA rating. A toss out of bounds. Indiana basketball. Damaris Duntas, one of their stars, but figures to be a significant part in the back end of the Fever's rotation this year. Aileen comes up with a rebound. Back to Hall. 4:20 to go in the fourth. Hall elevates and drops it in.
We've seen some of the variety of her skill set. We saw her at the guard position that time, backing down the defender, turnaround jumper.
Part of an incredibly successful class at South Carolina. Won a couple of national champions. 4 straight Final Fours for Hall. Ejim got a hand on it. No, it's been fun just in general, Rebecca, to see some of the W preseason games here back at collegiate atmospheres. We talked about the game back at LSU the other night. Also saw one in Notre Dame here today in Iowa. Just love the ingenuity and bringing these fans who love women's basketball across the board. 17 points from you. Just how about the way the ball has moved today for you and your entire team? What has it felt like, the rhythm of the offense?
It's the new basketball for the Indiana Fever, man. Just get it up and down, be able to play consistently with a high rhythm.
You've been here longer than any of the members on your team in terms of playing for the Indiana Fever. So many new pieces, more experienced pieces. What has been the biggest difference of having that experience this year?
I think the best part of Rebecca is that I feel winning in the culture in the room. Like, I don't know, I can't describe it, but whenever we walk in rooms and you hear Stephanie talk, you hear with that.
What did you think about Caitlin's 36-footer and the crowd reaction there, Kelsey?
I felt like I was from Iowa, man. I had never seen that in my life, and so now I get to see it in person. I kind of feel like a fan. I'm just in admiration of what she's been able to do for her state and this city, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, how about just the atmosphere here in general, Kelsey? Obviously, this is a very unconventional preseason game. What has it been like for you and your teammates?
I think we've all talked about a little bit of everything, from the spectacle to the kids to, you know, everybody in here. We've never seen anything like this. So for us, we look at it from a friend standpoint, but also a teammate, to say to Caitlin, she's been able to do things and create this atmosphere. So we're excited, man. It's an unbelievable atmosphere.
We'll let you get back to your teammates in a moment, but I got to ask you, you were coming off a career year.
Yeah.
You're an all-star the last 2 years. Kelsey Mitchell joining us live from the bench with 1:35 to go in the fourth. Leading scorer today was 17. Wow. Jaylen Brown has had some big moments in this second half for Indiana. And now coming up with a steal. Here's Brown on the breakaway. Couldn't lay it in, but Aileen can.
Free agency, their most important move was securing Kelsey Mitchell and bringing her back in a way where she can thrive again. You mentioned a year ago, career high in scoring, career high in field goal percentage, and career high in people watching her and getting to appreciate what a great talent she is.
Yes. She used the quote with us at one point. She said, Caitlin is a spotlight for you, your abilities, what you do. When you fail, when you succeed. For Kelsey last season, it was a lot of success as Indiana comes up with a stop here after the Aileen. Smile on your face.
Well, it's a 64-point game, and fans aren't leaving. If you see empty seats at all, it's because those fans have all gone over by the tunnel.
Yes.
Trying to get a high five or an interaction of some kind with Peyton Clark when she leaves the floor.
Yeah. Ejim in at the three. Scooped up by Aileen. And now Sydney Colson is going to let the clock wind. A memorable afternoon at Carver Hawkeye for Caitlin Clark.